Hello and welcome to Tempo Check, baby. Tempo Check 1, 2. I'm your host, Cathryn Niker.
I'm your other host, Freddie Rivas. What's up? What's good? We're coming back at you 1 week later because we have to. There's too much going on. But first, let me just say, follow us on all of our social media accounts at the Pickup WNBA podcast. We're on Insta, baby. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're also on all the different places you find podcasters, which are also good places to show us love and compliment us and give us as many stars as are available. And tell your friends, please. Makes a difference. We've all seen the Black Mirror episode where someone gets downvoted in the algorithm and then their life falls apart. So we don't need that. You know what I mean? We need you to upvote us.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, big week for the Tempo here. We got a roster of sorts. We're going to talk all about the expansion draft, what happened, how it went, what fans can expect, all that good stuff. Freddie and I were at the presser. We were invited as press because we're cool like that. So we appreciate the Tempo for having us on the list. And it was great. I mean, it was Good Friday when they held this, which I think is a product of the CBA negotiations going as long as they did. There's no long weekends, I think, for WNBA teams right now. And so the press conference happened on Good Friday. It was a really nice setup. Like, honestly, it was like this. The room looked like it could have held a small wedding.
It was very nice.
It was really nice. Little hors d'oeuvres, little drinks, nothing too crazy, but it wasn't like a typical press conference where you're just like in a media room, bunch of random chairs, a podium. It wasn't like that. It was really set up more as a celebration for the team that happened to have some media there, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was a really neat twist to what is otherwise a regular press conference.
Yeah, I mean, we got to shout out it was a nice building. Okay, we were in the 68th floor. Had a nice view of Toronto. I think
water view too.
A water view. Let's go. A couple water taxis, no worries. I told this to Cathryn and some people on the way there, but yeah, I was talking with my mom and my brother. This has been. I mean, it's been a long time coming for us, and it's been a long time coming for the city. This isn't our first rodeo, but I think there's just a newness and excitement to. You can talk about what it's going to be like to have a team as much as you want, and we have, but we have a team now. We're never going to be in this place anymore where we don't have players, right? We're going to trade players. We're going to lose players. All these things are going to happen, but we have a team. It's real. We have players, and getting to be there for that was awesome. It was just such a privilege and an exciting, cool thing to do.
Agreed. And we saw some of our cool media friends there, met some new people as well. And then what they did was they actually I'm jumping ahead here. So during the Sandy Brondello press conference back in November, I got to attend and I got to ask a question, and I got to cosplay as media. I still feel like I'm cosplaying because I'm not a proper journalist, but we have this show. And this time it was Freddie's turn, and that was exciting. So, and you're always really good at coming up with the questions. That's why on the pickup it's Freddie's fun question, because they just come to they're just popping off the dome for you.
I ask a lot of questions in life, so I feel like that's prepared me to be a question asker. I mean, on the way there, I was like, Cathryn, I have 200 questions. You think that's enough? And she was like, well, I mean, whatever you want to do, dude, you can ask one. Um, and
That's not literally
no.
on the way there, I was sweating because it was like a balmy 20 degrees Celsius here. And also, they hadn't turned off the heat in my building yet. And also, my beloved dog Zelda I had this very girly tie that had this like little brooch on it, and she chewed off the brooch, and I didn't notice until I was like almost out the door and then like panicked about my outfit. So I was a sweaty mess when I got in the car. And yes, Freddie picked me up and drove us there. So thanks,
And
Freddie.
you better believe I had the AC blaring. Like, I got you. You know what I mean? I knew what was up. But
I was literally like a woman with menopause in his car, honestly, and I'm not there yet.
and
And
I
if
guess,
you're new to Tempo Check or new to the Pickup podcast,
or the
this is
term
how we are.
perimenopause, then that's okay too. But no, I was I was nervous, right? My chest is beating a little bit, and Bree, who's the social media manager and PR,
PR manager, yeah.
PR, yeah, got like dropped the mic off, and I was like, okay, and I did what I do often, which is sort of stutter, sort of stammer, but I think ultimately, hopefully, make a connection. And I may have been the only person who actually asked, uh, ask,
How are you?
how are you? Right?
And you are. You are
Yeah.
the only person who
I was
asked,
like,
"How are you?"
I said, I'm Freddie. How's it going? And then as soon as I said that, I was like, I'm glad I did that
You
because
know what else is true? I don't know if you noticed this. You were the only one that introduced yourself and said the pickup, like, said your affiliation.
I thought there
No
was
one
one
else
other
no
person who
one
said global.
one other person did it, like, after you, but nobody did that, and it was weird because like, in press conferences in the past, well, people are deliberately explicitly told, like, "Say your name, say your affiliation, and then ask the question." So
Hmm.
that was, like, actually a standard thing that you did that was for some reason dropped off, but maybe it was because of the more informal atmosphere that and more
Hmm.
celebratory atmosphere that they had, but anyway.
Right. Well, yeah, either way, it was, it was great. It was cool to be in the room and to have, to listen to all the questions, to kind of, hey, we got a spread. Shout out to Katie Heindel. We got a celebratory white wine.
Yes, we
Uh,
love Katie of Basketball Feelings.
it was just a really cool moment, and I'm excited for moments to come. Catherine, should we jump into should we let people know like the inaugural picks for the tempo?
Well, a couple quick things first. We can shout out some other friends while we're here. We can shout out Chelsea Late
Gotta shout out Chelsea Late, Savannah
as well,
Hamilton.
Savannah Hamilton. We also met some global news people as well. Global News was there.
Global
And
News, shout out. Shireen Ahmed, got to meet her, which is awesome.
yeah, she's great.
Burn It All Down is also an amazing podcast that everyone should listen to. So I'll just shout that out as well.
Yeah, and also, Ayanka Jess from She's for Sports. I met, Ayanka years ago, and she's also been, like, kind of a pioneer in, like, Toronto female sports space. She's been building this business for a long time, and it's cool to see her also in the media rankings, with ourselves, and so, yeah, just a bunch of really cool people that we get to know and hang out with, and probably even more and more once games start happening.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's really cool seeing that many people in a room who are like all passionate for what this moment means, and knowing it's gonna get a lot bigger from this point forward.
Mhm. I also wanna just take a quick note about the broadcast itself. So, a few things, like, one and I know a bunch of fans online were noting this, is we didn't actually get to watch a draft. Right? We all thought we were gonna watch a draft, and if you tuned in last year with the Valkyrie, we saw them draft the picks. but this time it was like a statement and like a list of names, like they had already done the draft, and it was like, from a broadcast perspective, from a fan perspective, it was a bit anticlimactic. I will say, like, I thought we were gonna see them go, like, 1 for 1, but, it is what it is. We have a team. One thing that was, like, a genuine shocker for us, in the room was that, Bridget Carlton was taken by Portland, our Canadian. We all thought we were gonna get Bridget Carlton, and there were proper gasps in the room when we saw Bridget Carlton going to Portland. I'm sure she'll do great in Portland. Portland's a great city, genuinely a great city, all of that. But we were like, we lost our Canadian. Like we had like collectively a stunned moment, um, kind of like realizing that. But then moments later, I was like, we have Marina Mabry, and I was like losing my mind a bit.
Yeah, so a couple things. Portland, how dare you? So the first thing I said was
Yeah,
rude.
screw you being a good city.
The first thing I said was rude.
Yeah, and then I
And
said we have a rivalry.
yes,
They took
so
our girl.
legit, like a bit of a slap in the face there to like start things off. This is just the nerd in me, but I did think that I wonder if agents got involved, players got involved, and they said, with what's happening with this draft, I don't want the entire like sports world to see that my player was picked last on the expansion draft. It's bad for their career. Because they had it broken down at first and
Oh.
second round. So I wonder if it was a scenario where agents got in the mix and they're like, this looks bad. Like it looks bad that my player was not like cored or protected. And then it looks even worse that they were selected like late in this process.
I could totally see that being the
Because if
case,
I'm an agent,
although
if I'm a player, I'm like, this makes me look like I'm not desired. And
see,
that's
I
bad.
I don't I don't necessarily agree. I agree from, like, an agent perspective that that could easily be the case, but from a fan perspective, I don't agree that that makes them look not valuable because they were selected. You don't have to be selected.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So to me, it's like you were chosen,
Right.
and, based on where you're at as a player, I think where you're drafted, especially with something like an expansion draft, is generally like compatible with where you're at with your career, generally speaking. Now, with this, it's like there are some mysteries in terms of like the order. Because if I remember correctly, with the Valkyries, it's like they kind of went in order of like the teams, like which player do you want from this team? Which player do you want
Mm-hmm.
from that team? But with having Portland and Toronto in the mix, that would have probably been done a bit differently. But regardless of all that, I just had to note it because it was something that, like, a lot of fans were also commenting on, and it was something that, from as a fan, I agreed with, that it was, like,
Mm-hmm.
it made for, like, an interesting and sort of weird viewing
Yeah, it was
experience.
not as entertaining as it could have been. Come on.
Yeah, and all that's valid, but we do have a team.
We got a team.
So let's talk about the team.
Let's talk about the team.
Freddie, do you have the, names in front of you?
I do have the full list here. So first, let's just start with the selections. Some of these players are new, so we'll do our best pronunciation
Yeah.
wise, obviously. But Julie Almond, Niara Sabali, Marina Mabry, Aaliyah Nye, Lexi Held, Maria Conde, Maria Klindikova, Aja Kane, Nikolina Milic, Khadija Laksa, and Christy Wallace are
I think
the.
you did pretty good there.
Was that pretty good?
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like it's pretty good. But and I mean I will say I do know a lot of these players, but one of the first questions that came up in this is presser is just how international this team is.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's like we have players from Spain, Australia, Russian descent. So I think of course some like a lot of these players are in the W already, and like I mean they've all had W experience, but there was very much an international flavor. Like a lot of them are currently in different leagues, um, playing overseas and that sort of thing. So I'm not all the way familiar with all the players, but I think that transitions well, Cathryn, to well, I guess first before we talk about who the tempo is like moving on. So this is just to paint the picture here, everyone. Each W roster is going to be 12 players, right? So you can bring more than 12 players into a camp, but when it gets down to who they're going to keep, there's only 12 players. So
And you named off 11.
I named off 11, and we have 4 draft picks, and then we're also going to participate in free agency. So this is sports. There's going to be competition in camp. Some of these players will not be members of the tempo, but so I think just to say that uh, it's still, even though with the expansion and where we're at with rosters, like it's still such a competitive league.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
we have 2 new teams, 24 more spots, but it's really a very, very elite league. Like just doing quick math, but like there's gonna be roughly still only 170 players, period, in the WNBA. But yeah, I think one thing I wanted to say, Cathryn, was a lot of people who know that I went here, they're asking me this question. So I feel like I want to answer it on the pod. They're like, "How did we do? How do we do? And are we going to be good?" And I think my answer is we have to wait to see
We don't
what
have a full team yet,
we
so you
don't have a
can't
full
answer that.
picture of how
Yeah.
we're going to do, but that has been not satisfying to people. So I will say this: we didn't have a lot of options of players to pick, and our team's really young, like as of like what we can see now. So like, yes, if this were the
Well,
roster that we're rolling out, we might be in some trouble, but
we
it's
would be
not
dead
the roster
last.
we're rolling out, you know?
Yeah, I think the way to give somebody a satisfying answer is that we are still searching for, and this is like literally a quote from the presser, our cornerstone player or players, right? Like we don't have like, the star of this team or the leaders of this team. And like, somebody like Marina Mabry would easily be part of a big two or a big three,
Yes.
but like she is not, I would say, not anticipated. Well, we'll see. Who knows what's going to happen? But I think the hope is that Marina Mabry would be like the second or third best player on the team. And if that happens, then we're going to be in a lot better shape. So there's still so much to uncover. And a lot of that's going to happen in the next week, right? Like we've got the college draft next week. Um, Free agency negotiations started today, but the signings start on April 11th. So there is going to be a lot of big news, big roster news specifically coming up. And literally next week on the pod, we should have a greater picture of who that team is. And then we'll be able to evaluate, and then also based on all the other signings as well, we'll be able to evaluate where we think we
Hmm.
might be in terms of talent versus everyone else in the league.
Yeah,
That,
well said.
yeah.
I think I also would like to just reference like who sort of, again, this can still change as well, but who the tempo is at least moving on, like who they're making offers
Mhm.
to. So, well, I think let's just park Marina for a sec because she was the unrestricted free agent that we went after, and
And she's been cored, yeah.
she's been cored. So like she is like has a different kind of, she's operating in a different way than most of the other players that the tempo of made offers to. So extended reserve qualifying offer, which is essentially like the right to kind of like negotiate with, is Maria Klindikova, Julia Almond, Nikolina Milic, Khadija Laxa, and Lexi Held. So these are generally young players. I think if you watched a lot of Lynx, you know Nikolina for sure. And then if you watched a lot of Valkyries like Julie had an incredible year as like a solid, awesome point guard. Really, really great like facilitator. And then Lexi Held obviously had, just was a rookie, but had a good year. But yeah, I don't know if you want to add anything there before we move on to Marina.
Um, I would just say like not on that list, but people that were kind of more noteworthy during the press conference, or that Monica Rogers was kind of noting, was Maria Conde from the
Hmm.
Valkyries, who has had a really great career in Spain. So I don't think we've seen a lot of her here in the W, but she was kind of spoken about as somebody with a lot of promise. And as well, Aaliyah Nye, who was a pick last year for the Las Vegas Aces, who didn't get a lot of minutes last year, but is known for being a really great shooter. And that's somebody, if they stay and are able to make the team, could be a potential like off the bench, like 3 and D type player.
Yep.
So those are kind of other names outside of that shortened list, based on the team roster that I'm kind of looking at right now.
A player I missed as well, who we've offered to, and I think this is fun to think about, is Niara Sabali. Um,
Oh, yeah, of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we've offered to Niara, and then obviously the sister of Satu, who has already announced that she's not returning to Phoenix. So this is fun. This is fun.
Oh,
We get we get we
if
get
we
we get
got
some.
both of them, that'd be
Let's get the sisters playing
amazing.
together. And I think like, yeah, Satu's an all-star. So like this is kind of like, yeah,
Yeah,
we're in a we're
Satu is an all-star, and for anybody who doesn't know, like, Nayara played for the Liberty, she played for Sandy Brondello, who is our coach, and she was, like, yeah, a significant player off the bench for the Liberty, but she was, like, a hero in the finals when they won their championship. Like, she was, like, a difference player when it really mattered, and she's, like, the player on this team so far that has, like, championship experience. So that's also noteworthy for anybody who's new to this roster and to this team.
Yeah. Also, for anyone who's even just an outsider with for anything related to basketball, she's 6'5". So you do need big people in basketball. So she's a center, and yeah, everyone that else that's been offered is not that it's not that tall. So I mean, Milic is 6'3", so that's something. But
So what do we want to say about Marina Mabry?
I think what I want to say is part of this selection is, I've seen this before with Toronto. They want to get fans on board quick, so they pick someone who's tough as hell. So
Mhm.
Marina, if you don't know what the crash out jar is, she was she was basically like, it became a meme where she has so many moments where she loses it, that she had a crash out jar created for her, where people would put money in a jar for every time she flips or
On
goes
court.
on the court. It goes nuts. She had a very, very viral moment where she kind of bodied Caitlin Clark, so
Mhm.
she got a lot of press for that too. But she's like a solid vet.
Yeah, but
So
but all of that, she's a great player.
she's a great player. She's tough, honestly, a little bit dirty. Um, 14, 4-4 last year. So this is someone who's legit. And then also like in a really good position in her career. She's 29, right? So this is like she's kind of that perfect age as far as like the mixture of like talent and experience. So she's going to be, we'll see who we get, of course, but she's definitely going to be the face, or one of the faces of this first roster. Like one of the, like, you'll see her at the press conference, like she'll be
Yeah, for
getting
sure.
interviews, she'll be speaking a lot. This is going to be someone that I think, if you, even if people who aren't following the tempo that closely, if they know one, two, three players, like Marina will be one of them for sure.
Yeah, and I just pulled up some of her stats last year. She averaged for the season last year 14 and a half points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. 36% field goal shooting, about the same from 3. Uh, yeah, she's a really, really fun player, and I think Toronto's gonna love her.
Yes, for sure. Toronto's gonna love her.
Freddie, I think we can wrap it up here. So listen, next week, for tempo check, I guess, we're gonna have a whole draft pick to talk about, several draft picks to talk about. Hopefully several free agency signings to talk about, and a more detailed idea of what this roster is going to be, which is going to be really exciting. As well, on the pickup next week, we're going to be talking about the whole draft, all these amazing players we just saw in the NCAA championship, or the March Madness run, as well as all the major free agency signings. So stay tuned for that. Next week is going to be absolutely huge, with updates and movement and all that good stuff. So I think we can wrap it up here for now. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. As always, please remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell your friends, leave a
Tell your
positive
friends.
review. We're here, baby, and things are in motion, really exciting, really fun times.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Peace.